It's going to be hard because I'm staring at myself, so obviously I can see all this stuff. So you guys will have to sort of take my word that I'm going to look away and I won't see what's happening.
Hey, Kent.
Yes.
Jamie just sent me a message and said that Munson's going live in Bali. So
Yeah.
I'm like, sorry, I'm going on Warrior.
That's right. That's not going to make you a better leader. That's just information.
That's true. That's right. I'm not missing this one.
This is good content. Like, if I didn't record this and you're not here, you're going to miss what Adam's got to share. And I'm telling you, Adam has nuggets of wisdom and leadership skills that you have to learn, that you have to hear.
I Googled you already, so I'm.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you're Googled.
Look, just because it's on the internet does not make it true. I have to.
On the show with the guys, auditions. It was pretty cool.
Oh, Penn and Teller Fool Us?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That was actually, hold on, I'll show you. 1 second.
He's got the FU award.
I do have the FU award. That's right. There it is.
Oh, that's
nice. And
And
now,
it's-
how many people have won the FU award?
So every season, they're right now filming, or they just concluded filming season 5, and every season has about 65 acts. And I'd say on an average, maybe 7 to 10 of those acts per season fool them. You know, so I would say there's probably about 40 foolers, maybe less.
That's not a lot.
The first season, it was kind of a building season. So there was a bunch. It was almost like every other one was fooling them. But the rules had changed a bit. So yeah, I think there's probably 30, maybe 40, and potentially 50.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I watched yours,
really,
man. I was like, all right, I know how he does the dime one, but then the roller just like that threw me. I was like,
I mean, that's a pretty good example. I mean, we'll talk about that, but a lot of that is more entrepreneurship than it is to fool Penn and Teller. You know,
and you created that.
No, well, so the technology that made the effect work that fooled them is an artist that we produce.
Right.
Illusionist being the company that I run, that I'm the general manager of, and he came to us with this thing, and it was really good, but it needed it needed some added stuff to be a really marketable effect. So we worked on, I can't say too much about it, but some of the things inside of the kits that you get when you buy it, we worked on that, and then we shot the trailer, made it a product, and
Nice.
held off until Fool Us. And the full intention was,
sell the heck out of that product.
hey, if it fools them, it's going to be great. If it doesn't, you know, maybe it hurts the product a little bit, but really it probably wouldn't even hurt the product. It's still a cool product. It's still cool to see it on TV. So
Right. It's just like people that go on Shark Tank. You know, they've got cool products. They go on there. Not everybody goes on Shark Tank to get those guys to buy the product. They're using it as free marketing. Hello.
Yeah.
1 million, 2 million people watching the show, and then all of a sudden they see your product. They're like, ooh, I want to buy that.
And some of them,
that's smart marketing.
Some of them do it on purpose. You know, they
Yeah.
go in there with such a low bid that they know they'll never get it. It's just for that sort of, I just want you can't buy this kind of, press. So
Exactly.
all right,
Hello, Stacy. Hello, Randy. Hello, Kimberly, Cora, Jackie, Angel. Good to see you. Awesome. All right. So, all right, Adam's gonna. For you that just showed up, Adam is going to fool you. No, I'm just kidding. He's actually going to do a magic trick right here in front of you. So get ready.
Which hopefully will fool you. Yes. Hopefully, we'll see. So I'm going to do it like, you're going to have to clear my thing here a little bit, because what I love to do is called sleight of hand magic. Sleight of hand magic is nice because it's the truest form of magic. So most people can go buy a box that cuts a woman in half and perform that on stage, because most of the apparatus is going to do it for you. That was beautiful. That was beautiful, Ken. But sleight of hand is the thing that you practice, and the only way to be a sleight of hand magician is to practice it. So I'm going to show you my favorite piece of sleight of hand. Can you guys see the cards pretty well here? Okay, cool. So watch the 4 aces. It is, I'll just sort of confirm for everybody, they are the only 4 aces in there. There aren't duplicate aces because that would be one way to accomplish it, but it is a normal deck and 4 aces. And what we're going to do is lose the 4 aces into 4 different parts of the deck. So watch very carefully. We're going to take 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we'll put them into 4 different locations of the deck. So I can show that they're spread out, and there's about 5 to 7 cards in between each one. Now there's a saying, it's called trust your friends, but always cut the cards. And the reason they say that is because I can look right now and see exactly where those 4 aces are and how many cards are on top of each. So I could know exactly where they are. But the saying, trust your friends, but always cut the cards, that means if the cards are cut, even if you were tracking where those 4 aces were, it would be very hard, if not impossible, to track them through all the shuffling and mixing. So this is where it gets neat. We're going to try and find those, but I'm not going to find one. Kent, you're going to find an ace for me. So as I cut small packets like this, just yell out stop whenever you'd like.
Stop.
Okay, and do you have a favorite ace, one that you like?
The Ace of Hearts.
Ace of Hearts. So you could have stopped lower, you could have stopped higher. You stopped on this card, and we're hoping it's the, oh, not bad, the Ace of Hearts. That's a good eye, Ken. That's a good eye. Now that's the first ace. That's the ace number 1, Ace of Hearts. I'm going to find the mate to the Ace of Hearts. That would be the other red ace. So that's the
Ace of Diamonds, yeah.
Just 3 cuts, and that should have gotten me, if I've done my job, to the Ace of Diamonds.
Ding.
So hearts and diamonds, but the black ones are the hard ones because I do them one at a time with one hand. So one-handed, snap, and a toss. No, I'm just kidding. See, I'm a magician. These are actually the red ones because the black ones are on the table where they should be.
Dude. Jackie, you're going to have to watch the replay on this one.
Magic.
Oh, Randy's like, wow.
Magic over the web.
Yes. That's crazy. Dude, you laid the cards down. Everybody watched you lay the red ones on the table. But that's why you're the magician and I am not.
It is magic, yes. So fill me in on the group here. What this is a group of leaders and entrepreneurs and
so this group is business entrepreneurs, warriors, because a warrior is somebody that stands up, makes a decision and either fights the battle or walks away. But they stand up as a leader in their community or in their business and in their personal lives. And so these warriors are in here to learn how to be a stronger and better leader. And so I know you do a lot of magic and illusions and things like that. And anybody can be a magician or illusionist, but I really liked how you weave in a story about business, about being an entrepreneur, and how it all comes together. And you do it so well and so amazing that I can't even give it justice.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, my trajectory is really I would bill myself as a business consultant. My main goal is to help a company to reach their customers, soon to be customers, employees, or community, and to reach them in a fun, in memorable, exciting, but most importantly, a memorable way. So I am a conduit for an organization to either explain to their employees by showing how important they are, or reaching out to customers or current customers, soon to be customers, or again, even to their community. So for instance, a charity show to give back to their community. Mm-hmm. Now, I have to, obviously, that's my passion job. That's what I do about 50% of the time. The other 50% of the time, I'm running a company where we're the largest e-commerce company in our space, where we create, market, and sell magic tricks. So we have to continually be the leaders in our field because it is a very small market. You know, we might have in the United States 4,000 buyers. So 4,000 potential customers. Now that's give or take. It could be higher, it could be lower. But I'm talking about an average buyer base that we can rely on in that range. So if we're not the leaders in the industry over and over, and we've got plenty of competition, if we're not continuously innovating, and doesn't have to necessarily be innovating through product, but innovating through marketing, through customer outreach, through experience. We have to be the leader or we're going to fall behind and we'll be out of business. So it's a very it forces us to take that authoritarian role and say, we're illusionists. There's nobody better. And I think in my personal business as a performer and a speaker, it's the same thing. It's a very busy space, performers and keynote speaking. And if you aren't aggressively showing that you are a leader or a thought leader specifically, the idea of thought leader is something I've really sort of been striving to achieve. And I think to be a true leader, you do have to be a thought leader. You have to lead in your thoughts and your passion and in your action for other people to take hold and say, hey, I want to be like that. And in the keynote speaking game, there was a great quote I heard that basically said, they just want to know that you're at a place that they want to be, but also that you've been through what they need to get through to get there. So you have to connect to these people, but also show them. And I think the easiest way to lead is to show by action, at least for me. I have a very creative team in the company that I get to general manage, which is a catch-22 because they can also be very, very creative people. Love their freedom to be able to come and go as they see fit, and when they're in the flow, to take that and ride with it, and when they're not, to sort of be left alone. That's a very hard person to manage. So the easiest way for me to manage these people is through my action. So regardless of what's said or lack thereof, sometimes I don't get to say the things that I want to because of this sort of creative freedom that we instill on everybody. But at any time of day, they know they can check in. They know that through my actions, that's sort of what is the standard of what we should be doing as a company. And the nice thing about that as a leader is that you can always hold people accountable. You know, everybody knows you can't really tell somebody to do something that you haven't done. You know, and I think the best leaders in the world know every single facet of whatever company or organization they're in. To the point of, I've had a manager about 10 years ago that genuinely, I was cleaning bathrooms at the time, and he genuinely came in and did the 2 full days of cleaning the bathroom with me watching. And it wasn't so he could teach me to clean a bathroom. I'm not an idiot. It was so I could see him doing the work that he's asking me to do, and doing it with pride and taking pride in this work. And that always stuck with me. The idea that if you're going to ask somebody to do something and you guys are on a team together and you're leading them, you better have at least done it or know exactly the process, exactly the steps to do that. Obviously that's not possible in everything. We hire out, we outsource. There are skill sets that we don't have,
Sure.
But at least be present in that experience, be a part of it. Don't just hire something out and then go, well, why didn't this get done properly? You know, and I think the best leaders I've ever had in my life have led by showing and saying, in that action of showing, it says, hey, we're a team. You know, I'm not asking you to do something I'm not going to do, or I'm not asking you to do something that's below me. And I try and lead myself that way with the team I manage. And then, you know, try and keep true to that in my personal business. It's a little bit harder in the personal business because it's, you know, being a magician or a consultant of any kind. I'll be interested to hear what your business is, but in the consulting, keynote speaking, performing game, you're pretty much out of a job at the end of every show. And it's an interesting position to be in. Even if you kill it, if you go out and you kill it, as a magician, as a keynote speaker, they're probably not going to hire you back. I mean, why would that organization hire you back for the next year? You might come a year later, 2 years later, but for that next year, well, we saw Adam last year. He was great. So it's a very tough road to be in, to be out of a job at the end of every job. You know, obviously there's ways around it, but that's I'm following some people who are great leaders in the industry and studying I just got back from a week in Costa Rica with a guy who is top of the game as a business consultant / magician. And the way he leads is by showing. He says, this is the 30 years of my life. This is what I've done. I know all the issues you have. You're out of a job every single show, you know, blah, blah, blah. And there's a structure in place that he's developed that you're not. He changes the game. And the only way I would ever believe that is by him leading and showing and the proof of his actions. So, like I said, I'm very intrigued on sort of what Yorgos, my biggest breaking, my biggest change of the game was for me was finding creativity. That's where I think I've always possessed a strong stage presence and a bit of an authoritarian voice on stage, and I don't know where that comes from because I'm not that kind of.
One of the things that really caught my attention at Digital Footprint was that you didn't grow up wanting to be a magician. You know, you had other jobs that you were doing, and then something changed, something shifted in your life, and then you got focused, you got passionate and stuff. And can you kind of share that story with these guys to let them know?
Yeah.
Because you went from the mindset of an employee to becoming an independent business owner and an entrepreneur, which then brings you into that leadership role. Because when you go entrepreneur, you have to lead. You have to lead yourself. You have to, like now you have employees. You have people that rely on you, and you work together as a team. So can you guys kind of share that story?
Yeah, for me, I was up until 30. I'm 37 now, and it's really been the last 7 years that things have changed dramatically. Up until 30, it was very much a drifter, unfocused, unsure lifestyle. I partied a lot. I spent most of my time trying to have fun in whatever means I could do that with, and not focusing on a future or goals or anything of the such. I got to a really bad place at 30 years old with a lot of personal life choices that led me into a dark hole, a nasty place, a place I wouldn't wish on anybody. And that got me to where I felt I had no, without getting too much. I mean, I don't hide behind it. I used to sell a lot of pot. I used to be a pot smoker, and I would sell pot because it would allow me to smoke pot. So, I wasn't making $1 million. I was dead broke working a $9 an hour job to clean the pools of very rich people. I mean, the houses that I would clean the pools at were multi-million dollar houses in Vermont. And I got in trouble for it. I'd done it long enough that I was trying to rebuild my life and become a professional magician at this point. And it was the one skill set I knew that I had. And a guy called me and said, "We want to do a magic show. My son is having a party, but my wife wants me to meet the magician before we hire him. Would you mind?" I said, "No, of course, I'll meet you at Starbucks." And I went, shook his hand, and he sat down with his cup of coffee and said, "This is what's going down. I'm agent so-and-so with the DEA. You're under arrest. This is a blah, blah, blah." So I'm 30 years old thinking I'm looking at 10 years in prison. That's what they had told me, that if I didn't flip and do some things I didn't want to do to friends I didn't, I was due 10 years in prison. And at that point, there was nothing left. That was it. Okay. For the next 10 years in my head, hey, no one's going to kill me in prison if I show them really cool magic tricks. I'll be the cool guy. That's literally the mentality I had and 30. And for 10 years, I'm just going to get by showing card tricks in prison. I've screwed up my life. And that was it. That was nowhere else to go. Rock bottom. I'm done. So nothing happened for months. I had a lawyer, and he basically said, just don't be an idiot. Stay out of trouble. But for months, nothing happened. Not a phone call, nothing. And I was losing my mind. I was genuinely going insane. So I took magic tricks that I had created and sent them into a magazine called Magic Magazine. I don't know why. It was like a whimmy, fluky thing. I just did it to stay busy. And they wrote back, and this is a magazine of my peers, of people I've respected and read for many years. And they wrote back and said, "We love your trick. It's very creative." And that was the first time in my life anyone had said I was creative. And I had always gone by thinking creativity was a gift. It was a thing that some people have, and you can work a little bit at, but really it's you're creative or you're not creative. And most people think that. And the problem with that is in our education system and in our schooling, in the way that we're brought up, there's right and wrong answers. You take tests, and it's a very systematic education system, which does not really allow for creativity. It does, and some schools are better than others, and some teachers are better than others, but it doesn't structure it. Not in the United States. It really, really, it doesn't not allow for it, but it doesn't let you practice it. And by the time most people get out of school, creativity is not a focus, and they have just thought, I'm either creative or I'm book smart, or I'm smart, or I'm just not a creative type. To the point of even organizations, most organizations in the United States have departments they call the creative department, which is, you know, your marketing, your graphics, but then you have finance and you have HR and you have sales, and those aren't the creatives. And that's just embedded. That's a common truth. That's what we say in our organizations. Oh, that's the creative department. So what does that mean? That sales and all these other people aren't creative? And it really, I think most people are very creative closet heads, really. They never get to understand that they're creative, so they never get to practice or be rewarded for their creative endeavors. And that's a very scary, sad thing. So to tie it back in, when they said that was creative, that did something to my brain. And I went, holy crap, wait, what, really? Like, I invented this. And then I started getting emails of people saying, I read your trick, I love it, it's so creative. And it got me, it hooked me. And I started inventing as much as I could and started following magic. And the court thing played out where basically they let me sit for 5 years. And if I stayed out of trouble for 5 years, then nothing happened. But they never told me that. They just let 5 years go by, which was the statute of limitation. And I later found out that states like Vermont and Maine had been doing things like this with non-violent marijuana and petty drug criminals. They would basically scare the heck out of them and then watch them like a hawk. And luckily, I learned my lesson. And for 5 years, I did nothing but advance my life. I got a job at a great company called Seventh Generation, which was a first real job. I was in the HR department, and it's a big $300-400 million company, and it was a good job. And then I got a call from a magic company, and they offered me a full-time job at this online magic company. And, you know, I talked to my dad, and he was like, so you're going to leave a $400 million a year job with full health insurance and a good salary, and you can be there for as long as you want. They already want you to advance in the company to go peddle magic tricks. And I mean, let's talk about this honestly. Seventh Generation means cleaning products, sustainable cleaning products, toilet paper, diapers, shit you need. Magic tricks aren't things you need. My dad was like, when the market hits, which it will, those are novelty items. What's going to happen when your business, I mean, people always have to wipe their bum and they always need paper towels. And that was heavy, but I followed my instinct because something about this creativity thing was burning inside of me. And I quit Seventh Gen and got a low totem pole job at illusionist.com and made it a point to let them know I'm here to stay and I'm going to work my way up. Long story long, I invented some of the best-selling magic tricks of all time. The first invention I made was called Pyro, which shoots fireballs from your empty hands. It became an overnight viral success. I mean, every website, way outside of magic. We sold tech gadget sites. I had a rock star send me a photo of him on stage with it at the end of his guitar. What this device is it allows you to shoot fireballs from your empty hand. It's a little remote control device that shoots fireballs safely, but it's real. Fireballs. And people ate it up. That got me from forum director to project manager at Illusionist. And then again, that leading by example, that idea of showing up, of showing your leadership and not talking about it, just showing it. My philosophy is if you want to advance in a company, be the very first person there every single day and the very last person to leave. And I know it sounds ridiculous. And sometimes maybe you feel like you're just killing time to be the last person, but do it and be there and be the person that has the most stake in that game. And at any time they'll know if they need something that you're there. You're always there first. You're always there last. So they're going to come to you. And you're showing through your actions that I take this seriously. I can't make you take this seriously, but by me being here an hour early and me being here an hour late, you know I'm serious about this. So I did that and it worked me up and I'm now, you know, I'm the general manager under the CEO, the owner, and I run the day-to-day. And if you said 5 years ago, 6 years ago, Adam, you're going to be running the most successful magic company online and you would have invented some of the best magic tricks ever, best-selling magic tricks of all time, I would have said, no, you're not. I'm going to prison for 10 years because I was an idiot and I liked pot. So, you know, creativity to me was that outlet, was the one thing that I truly believe saved my life. Because if it wasn't for that email of them saying this is a creative trick, I don't know what I would have done in those 5 years. I wouldn't have had a focus. I wouldn't have had a laser scope on something productive. My mind would have been, I think, deteriorating itself, and who knows what would have happened. So I grabbed this creativity thing and I engulfed it. I made it every part of my life. I studied as much on creativity as I could. And all of the stuff I was reading and learning was that it's a facade. Creativity is nothing more than you taking your thoughts and putting your spin on it. It's every single person is creative. You have to be a human. It's our survival mechanism. It's just practicing this like anything. Not anybody can be good at the violin. Even if you're tone deaf, you can be good at the violin, but you have to practice it. And creativity is the same thing. If you practice creativity every single day, my honest, heartfelt opinion is that you will in turn find who you are, who you truly are at your core, and you will live your most fulfilling and passion-driven life. And that doesn't mean that you have to say, I'm quitting my job to become a magician, or I'm quitting my job to be a painter because I like to paint. But sometimes that is the case, right? And unless you can harness your own creativity and practice it and search for it and nurture it every day, you won't know that. You're not going to know if that passion is supposed to be your job, or if that hobby introduces you to the friend you've been meaning to meet your entire life, or the way that there's a teacher in an inner city, and her creative outlet was to develop a special handshake for every student that she had. This is an inner city teacher that is faced with the worst job in the world, to take kids that, I mean, this is rough. This is an angel doing this job. And instead of doing what most do and surviving, she said, how can I connect to these inner city kids? I'm not one. What is it? What can I do? And she wanted them to know that they were individuals and were special to her. So every single day they lined up, and every one of them had a special shake that she made for them that represented their character, who they were as a character, their good character traits. And you see 25 of these inner city kids lining up full of passion and pride because they're shaking their teacher's hand individually. That's creativity. And that will affect those kids for the rest of their lives, let alone however many classes she has. That doesn't mean that she's becoming rich and changing her life and doing ridiculous things to follow creative endeavors and daydreaming all the time. It means that she's open and receptive to the idea that there are creative ways to connect with people, just like there are creative ways to build a business, to lead people, to everything. Her creativity, her outlet was to choose to connect with her students. And that's what I think is the most beautiful thing about creativity. On top of all of the innovation and things like that, any company that wants to be successful today and into the future, if you are not a leader in innovation and creativity, you will be left behind. The technology and the way things are happening so quickly, the only thing that is going to be a sustainable job trait that will get you hired to just about any company in the future is being creative and innovative. It's the one thing computers and technology won't be able to do. So to me, creativity is and should be a focal point of everything that we do, but especially as a leader. You know, you as a leader have to figure out how to connect with not just students, but people from every single walk of life going together for a common cause. And the bigger the organization gets, the more walks of life that are in there. And the only way to really lead these people where one system or one approach is going to work for the masses is to do it through creative approaches. And that's changing and being very quick to adapt and things of that nature. So that's sort of a bit of my soapbox where I come from. My real passion now is to sort of inspire people to wake up and say, I am creative and I'm going to search for what it is that I'm creative for. How can I make this world a little bit better with my creativity? Because you are the only person that has whatever the answer to that question is. It won't exist if you don't do it. And that's the beautiful thing of creativity. You might have the same similar ideas as people, but your creativity is you giving back to this world. When we're dead and gone, it's what we left on this planet. And that teacher left emotional connections to these kids. It might not be a book or a poem or a piece of art, but she left something on this planet with all of those kids. And that's what I think the real magic of creativity is. And that's that's my real push now. I still love performing. I love being an entertainer, but I really love being on stages speaking to people and trying to get them to understand whether you think you're creative or not, you are, and don't ever lose. I mean, even when you're in the lowest of the low, do something creative, make something, tinker with something, make a connection, make a figurine, just do something, create. And I promise you, it will change your life in ways that, at least for me, I can't even put into words, in ways that are truly magical ways. So that's my big push, is I want to inspire every single person I cross path with to find their inner creativity and flex it every single day and change the world in doing so.
And that's awesome, because doing that, you're going to leave a legacy, and that's what it's all about. You know, my one friend, he jokes about, you know, hey, how's Steve Jobs spending his money? You know, he's not. You know, it's the legacy that he left behind for his kids that's gonna last forever. Not the money, but the legacy, and doing that. And
he changed the world. I mean, he changed the face of the world. You know, and yeah, you can't take a luggage rack on a hearse. That's true. 100%, you know, and that's where I think that's what I love about it. Most people can understand, hey, searching for your creative endeavors isn't necessarily going to make you rich. And it's probably not the best path to get you there in most cases. Being a doctor or a lawyer or something where, you know, that makes a lot of money, that's probably your best path. And that's what I like about creativity, because the people who truly like embellish it and relish in it don't do it for anything except the expression of it, because they know that it's this deep inner expression of who I am and what I can produce in this world. It's not about getting rich. The beauty is when you align the two and your creativity gets to pay your bills. But again, be careful with that, right? Because now your love and whatever you were creatively, having a relationship with now becomes a job, and that relationship changes dramatically. So you might end up not liking what you were in love with before. I know a lot of magicians that's happened to.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be a magician. I want to be a magician. I want to be a pro. I want to be a pro. And then they start getting into it and go, oh my God, I don't like doing this. I just want to do magic till like when I want to do magic. And that's the trouble of sometimes trying to take your creativity and making it a career. You can get burned out. So, but I do think in my life, the one thing that has completely turned my life around was the idea that I'm creative, and then just following that and learning. So that's my 2-cent plug. Here's my plug. Oops. So this is my book. This is the last 3 years of my life. It does a magic trick. So it's creativity, but if I
Your book does a magic trick?
No, it's a black cover. It's just a double-sided cover. But I'll show you why this is. So
all right, see, Adam, this is what I like about you is you see, this is the thing, you say you like to leave a legacy and things like that. You create laughter. You create people being creative. Like, how did he do that? You get people's imaginations going, and they're like, how does he do this? How does he create this? And then, of course, you always have the humor in there, so you're always making people laugh. And that is a God-given talent, because most people can't do that. And that is something that you leave behind because of all the people that you've made laugh or come out of their brain and go, well, how does he do that? I want to figure it out, or be creative.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. Truly, the guy that we just did a course with, that was a big part of what he says is, you're not a magician. No one needs a magician. Like, what we do is important. This isn't tricks. What we're doing is connecting organizations with people, and it is important. And that was his whole thing. So I appreciate you saying that. But I love, to me, a dream come true is to walk on a stage, have 45 to 60 minutes to talk to people, inspire them to be creative, and the entire time show them magic, mind reading, and get them laughing.
Can you do a little bit of that over the next 15 minutes?
So I can't do the magic part of it, no, because you guys would actually have to be here for it. That's the disconnect. Is magic is a thing that happens only in your brain, and to try and do it this way is a little hard. But I'm hoping that, at least my story inspires you guys to search for creativity, which is really easy to do.
Well, tell us about your book.
So this, there are two covers to it because the creative process in my mind is twofold. There's the inspiration, the daydreaming, but then it's also the brass tacks of making something out of that. Don't just be a drifter and a daydreamer, but turn it into action. So the first half of this book is my story. It is sort of, I don't tell my marijuana dealing past in there because it's not for the whole world to know. It's not, I don't want to give that away, but I do talk about coming from a dark place. So right. You guys are my friends now and we can talk openly, but in there it just says I was in a dark place, but it talks about that and then how creativity got me out of it. And the whole goal of it is to inspire you guys to also go, wow, creativity can help me. The end of that section is a 30-day creativity routine. So for 30 days, it's a little challenge. And all you're going to do is you're going to open, for instance, to day 6. You're going to read what it says to do. This one's Dr. Seuss. This is one of my favorites. These are very short little things that are all over the board, but they are just made to get you creating in ways that you're like, what the heck is this? So my promise in this book, so that's the middle part. And then when you get to the middle, there's a big stop sign. At the end, there's all these, creative places to just jot notes, write what you're thinking, and create, essentially. When you get to the middle, there's a big stop sign that says, please stop reading now and flip the book over. So you get to this, and then you flip the book over. Now, this side of the book, so it reads from here to halfway, and then it turns upside down. You flip the book over, and it's the second part of the book, which is actionable steps, tips, tricks, things that you can implement today. I just opened to here. So get enough sleep. There's a whole section on the importance of sleep and creativity. And it sounds ridiculous. And I know none of you guys, especially being leaders, probably get 8 hours of sleep, but you have to. You can argue it to the cows come home. 8 hours of sleep is what you need to be super creative. You do it for a week, it will change your creativity. But just things like that. Innovate, how to stay, avoid stimulants, things to do before bed, things that you can do in your morning. It's also got a morning routine. It's got my morning routine called the Create Morning Routine. So my promise in the book is that for 30 days, if you follow my Create Morning Routine, which is an hour, you have to take an hour out of your day. If you don't, I'm sure most of you already do a morning routine, just do your normal one. But in here, the meditation part of my morning routine is a focused guided meditation for creativity. So my promise is this: if you do the 30-day creativity challenge and the morning routine for 30 days and you don't see a dramatic increase in just the positivity in your life in general, not just your creativity, but being more positive, happy, productive, and outgoing, then I give you your money back for the book, happily, with a handwritten apology. And then
you won't come to our house and do magic tricks and recreate our creativity.
just an apology, just an apology. Refund and an apology. And then the very last part is 25 inventions that you may not have known about. Well, you've known about, like Velcro, the Slinky, Silly Putty, cornflakes, Play-Doh, Teflon, plastic, saccharin, all of these, and the story of how they were created. And it is very enlightening to see how most of these things we take for granted were created, because 95% of them are accidents, are mistakes and failures, and they're turning a failure into something awesome. And that, if there's one nugget I can give you, is that take every failure in your life and go, awesome, what opportunity is that? Because that's what okay, so what is that opportunity? For me, I got arrested for making stupid decisions and was looking at 10 years in prison. If I could have said, what opportunity does this give me? I could have said, it gives me all the free time in the world I need with nothing but a busy head. I'm going to write my first book. If I would have written a book in that first year, I bet it would have been epic. But I didn't. I didn't look at it that way. So to me, that last little 25 inventions are for people to go, no kidding. All of these failures turn into such things that we use every single day, such amazing products. So that's the book. It really is kind of my heart and soul. I call it my gratitude prayer to creativity for saving my life. The intention of it is to inspire everybody that reads it to live their most creative life. There's
awesome. No, all right. Everybody in the group I know they're wanting to ask this question. Where do you get the book? Where can they get it?
I'm happy to, everyone on this call, I'm happy to just send you a copy of it for free. I have it as a PDF, or on Amazon, it's $3.99 as a download, because Ingram Sparks, the physical copy, is, are you saying yay to Ingram Sparks or nay?
She's saying yay.
Man, I'm sorry, then I'm not the person to talk to. They have given me
Oh.
it has been the most difficult 2 weeks trying to deal. So here, this is from Ingram Sparks. And it's, look, they're a good company. I'm not gonna, don't say something if you don't have something nice to say. So I won't say anything about Ingram, but I don't have it available yet because I'm having some issues with Ingram Sparks. So I'm happy to send you guys all a free PDF download. It's the entire book. And then there's a back end on my website. On my website, part of my morning routine is a yoga routine. So there's an instructor I hired to do a specific morning yoga. I have a terrible back, so I don't do a lot of the yoga, but if you're into that yoga, that's a great routine. There's also a guided meditation that I hired an expert out to do for them. So that's all in the PDF I can send you guys for free. And I would love, first of all, for it to help you, to inspire you to be more creative, to look for that in everything you do. And then also any feedback you have, you know, if you're implementing, I just get messages from people who have done the full 30-day challenge, and those, I literally wake up for those kind of messages because it's really helping them. So I guess
we want to support you. I mean, that's the whole, what's the best way to support you? Is it going to Amazon and buying the book?
Yeah, here's the deal. The deal I'd like to make with you is I'll send you guys the copy for free. If you enjoy it and you read through it and you do enjoy it, then go buy it for $3.99 on Amazon as a download. It's the same exact download you've got, but then it allows you to leave a review. And that dramatically helps to, I'm trying to get it to rank and all that stuff. It's a nightmare. It's a long process, but reviews are the biggest thing that help. So that would be, I'd say, let me give it to you for free.
I will help you with that, Adam. I'm good at that.
Beautiful.
We will get your book ranked very quickly. All right.
I'm
this group right here, I know they're going to go to Amazon and buy the book for $3.99. It's not like it's a $20 book or a $50 magic trick and stuff, but they're going to go get the book. All right. Now, here's what I do ask you. All right. We have what we call the Success Vault. All right. Mm-hmm. Where we put tools and equipment and things to help the group have success in their life. And so I ask every speaker to donate something. So I'm asking, would you be willing to donate an autographed copy of your book to put into the Success Vault that somebody's going to win at the end of the year?
100%. I have a hard copy right here that I would be happy to. I got that printed from 48 Hour Books, and it's beautiful. I would love to do that. Absolutely.
Sweet. So if you guys want the book, go to Amazon and show the title again so they can all Google it, because guys, it's $4.
The easiest way is to type in Adam Wilber. That's Wilber, not UR. And then you're going to just type in creativity. Now, what's going to come up are two books. One is called Creative Magic, and that is a magic book. That's going to do you no good. And it's got 3.5-star review because 2 people reviewed it and 1 person didn't know it was a magic book. But the other one will look like this, the black cover with the ink on it. So if you type in Adam Wilber Creativity, look for this one, not the one that says Creative Magic. And it should be only one option to buy it for $3.99 is a Kindle book.
And then people can use it.
Exactly. Yeah. And like I said, it's a quick read. It's about, I think it's about 30,000 words, but it's a fun read. There's 4 sections in it. So nothing too heavy or heady. And once you start getting bored with one section, it'll switch into the 30-day challenge or something else. So my intention is going to be a fun read. And one thing you won't get in the download that I was really proud of was the whole design, the layout of the book. There's some like hidden messages and just some really cool design features throughout the whole book itself, which unfortunately I can't really get into the ebook, but you'll still get all of the content. All of the meat is still in there.
So here's what we'll do. We're going to support you on Amazon. We'll all go and buy the book. One, because we'll have that. And then of course we are going to leave really good reviews for spending and taking the time to talk with us and be on the call. But then you can also email me the PDF so I can get it out to the team, and they'll have that as well. So if they want to print it, then they can have a printed copy of your book as well. Perfect. But our whole goal is to support you, because that book right there, I'm looking in the chat. People are amazed by that book. They want it for their kids. They want to teach people. And,
man.
you know, you took the time, the energy to create that book. And that book is your gift to the world. It's your legacy that can be passed from generation to generation, because a book, once read, you can pass it on to somebody else to give them the value, to give them the nuggets of information, and give them the creativity. So we as a group want to support you and go to Amazon. We're going to buy the book. We're going to leave the 4 or 5 star. We're going to leave 5-star reviews, because that's what we do for friends.
I always ask that people just leave open and honest reviews, because for me, or better yet, look, I'm not going to BS you guys. It would suck to get, you'll see Creative Magic's been sitting there with 3.5 stars. It's killing me. But I always ask if there is something where you're like, look, man, okay, to me, it's more meaningful to get a personal email or phone call and say, I think you could better it this way, and not leave a review. But I am pretty proud of it. I think you might like it, but genuinely, if there's some things where you're like, it's not, I think you messed up here, there, let me know, and then leave a 5-star.
I'm just impressed by the cover and how you laid it out, because that is creativity in itself, because most books are just straight and boring, and you have taken the creativity, 2 different colors, you know, stop and flip it over and read it a different way, and then all the different stories.
Tell you,
so that
one sec. These just, I mean, 1 second. There we go. The truth about that is, my first intention of this book was to ghostwrite it, because I knew I wanted to do keynote speaking. Can you hear me?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool.
I just have to answer the door.
I paid someone to ghostwrite a book, and I found out it was plagiarized, three books on creativity shoved together. So I wasted 6 months, and I got my money back, obviously, but then I went, fine, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it myself. But the whole intention was always for it to be a business card. So I knew in my head, before I even wrote the book, I knew I wanted a double cover, because when that's sitting on someone's coffee table, they'd pick it up and go, oh, that's creative and neat. And then that would be my business card. But it ended up being something I fell in love with and spent 2+ years of my life making, and I am proud of it. So thank you. I appreciate all of you guys for that. I really do hope that it helps you find some creativity, maybe some tools and tricks that you didn't know before. But that's my intention, is genuinely to everybody I talk to, have them realize they are creative. And even if you're already practicing your creativity, the more you focus and make it a part of your life, the better your life is. And the only reason I can say that from the heart is because I live it, and I have for the last 7 years. And it's the truest magic I've ever experienced. So
awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on the call, sharing. Do you want to leave us with a magic trick or card trick real quick?
Actually, I will. I'll show you something really cool.
Awesome. I know Kimberly's all excited. See, Jackie's not so much. She don't care about magicians. She's like,
okay, so you have to sort of take my word for it, but I'm going to leave this in full view. This is a deck of cards. There's a prediction inside of this deck, okay?
A prediction?
Yeah, all of us together are going to decide on this prediction, okay? So this can sit right here, and I'll come down here just so I can see you guys a bit. So, Kent, we'll start with you. In a deck of cards, there are red cards and black cards. Do you want to use the red ones or the black ones?
Since you started off in a dark period of your life, let's go with the dark cards.
Okay, great. Thanks for bringing that memory back up to me. I appreciate that.
Hey, we all have to start somewhere.
That's right. That's right. You can't run from your past. Just learn from it. Okay, so let's do this. I'm gonna start. I don't have names here. Let me. Oh, there we go. Jackie. Okay, so Jackie, I'm gonna go to you now, and so we're gonna say, because you're not on mic. Oh, there we go. Okay,
I unmuted her.
So Jackie, I'm gonna ask you. There are black cards, is what he wanted. That's a club and a spade. Do you want to use the clubs or the spades?
Clubs.
Awesome. Okay, now we're gonna move down the line to Kimberly. Hi, Kimberly.
Oh, let me unmute her.
So we started with the black cards, and then you said clubs, correct? Okay,
Jackie said clubs, yeah.
So Kimberly, you're going to decide if this is going to be a low card or a high card. Low or high clubs. What do you want to use?
Oh, high.
The high? Perfect. Okay, so we've now got, let's go down here. We've got Isabella, is that right?
Where's Isabella?
Or no, Lisa. Lisa.
Uh-oh. Where's
With
Lisa?
the-
Oh, there you go. All right.
The two pointing to each other. You guys can decide together. Okay, so
Unmute yourself. There.
we went to black, and then we went to clubs, and then we went to low clubs. So let's say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Those are like the low cards. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 of clubs. Lisa, it's up to you.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
The 7 of clubs. This is crazy. Are you guys kidding me right now? Oh my goodness. This is kind of freaking me out. Here, I'm going to take the deck. Watch me very carefully.
All right. We're watching you.
I'm going to come up here.
All right.
Now, this couldn't be much more fair. Maybe Kent and I could have set this up, and if I just said, Kent, name a card, and he said 7 of clubs, then you guys go, oh, he called before. That's why we did it all down the line. And I told you there was one card, or I told you there was a prediction. See, what I did is I turned one card a different direction. I reversed only one card in this deck. This is crazy. I'm going to stand up so you can see. I'll never take this out of frame. You guys said the 7 of clubs. Watch
No, I
this.
said 5 of clubs. Oh,
Shut.
Nice try. Yeah, 7 of clubs. Look at this.
Mute yourself.
Oh. Sorry, 7 of clubs. You guys see?
A little higher. Just a little higher.
Sorry.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm going as slow as I can. There's one card reversed. Can you see one card going a different direction?
Yes.
Show you guys that.
Uh-huh.
So this is what's called building dramatic tension. How impressive would it be if that 7 of clubs magically turned into the 3 of diamonds? No, I'm just kidding. I did get it. The 7 of clubs.
Dude.
Ta-da!
Awesome. Great. Dude, that was all right. Boom. All right. Kimberly's over here going, what? How did he do this? Like,
Perfect.
Jackie's like, all right, he did the trick.
I seriously was thinking 5, but I was like, no, 7's my lucky number.
There you go. Now
There
you
you
have
go.
a lucky memory to tie with that lucky number.
Awesome.
Awesome. Adam, thank you so much for coming
Thank you,
on
guys.
here. Thank you for
Absolutely.
sharing your
Thank you.
we all have to learn from our past. We all have to take it as learning curves, and that's how we grow. That's how we become who we are today. And you've definitely shown that, and I appreciate you coming on here and just sharing your nuggets of wisdom and knowledge. I'd love to have you back sometime, or at one of our events that we'll do, and have you just do your whole show.
I would love that. Absolutely. And I really appreciate you guys spending some of your time here with me. I hope the book helps you guys. And if you ever need anything from me or I can be of assistance, just shoot me an email. Find me at my website, and there's a link to all my emails and everything there. So thanks for your guys' time, and thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Adam. And people have already gone out to Amazon and bought the book. So thank you guys for supporting him.
You guys are awesome. Thank you very much. That means a lot to me.
Awesome. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks for being friends with him, Kent.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
All right. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.
All right. There we go.
Or we should we should say thank you, Adam, for being friends with Kent.
Oh, that's true. Thanks, Adam, for putting up with Kent.
Right.
Hey, I bring the people for you guys. I mean, I've seen them in person. I know what they do. I work with them and stuff like that. I bring them so you get the nuggets of information.
You have a picture from Rain. I need to show up.
So I'm going to actually stop the recording right now.